Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a nation that's really at a critical crossroads, Haiti. It's a country with just immense potential, but it's caught in this spiral of economic crisis. So the big question is, how can it break free and build a stable future? Let's get into it. So here's the question we're tackling today. What would a real, workable blueprint for unlocking Haiti's economy actually look like? We're going to walk through an analysis that lays out not just the core problems, but more importantly, a potential path forward. And it all starts with some pretty stark numbers. To really grasp the scale of the challenge here, you have to look at three numbers that, honestly, paint a devastating picture. First up, projected inflation for 2025 is a staggering 41%. I mean, that's just a crippling force that evaporates savings and destroys the value of anyone's wages. At the exact same time, the entire economic pie, it's not growing, it's projected to shrink by 1.5%. So in a country that desperately needs jobs and growth, the economy is literally moving backward. And to top it all off, the government is projected to spend way more than it brings in. We're talking a budget deficit of over 4% of the entire economy. You put those three things together, and what you have is a full-blown economic emergency. Okay, so here's our game plan. First, we'll get a handle on the crossroads Haiti is at right now. Then, we'll look at the proposed blueprint for stability, what reforms are actually on the table, the toughest hurdles standing in the way, and finally, a potential roadmap for real sustainable growth. That perfect storm of numbers we just saw, it creates one big thing: crippling uncertainty. And for any investor, whether they're local or international, uncertainty is the absolute enemy. I mean, how can you possibly plan or calculate risk or have any confidence at all that an investment will pay off in that kind of environment? This quote from the World Bank really hits the nail on the head. Without a coherent and stable economic framework, a country just can't plug into the global economy. It's the absolute non-negotiable starting point. So what does that framework actually look like? And that leads us right to the proposed solution, a blueprint that's designed to create exactly that kind of stability. At the very heart of it is something called a macroeconomic framework. Now, the best way to think about this is like the foundation of a house. It's the core set of policies a government uses to keep the whole economy from shaking apart. You can't build anything that lasts, not a factory, not a tourism industry, not even a thriving local market, if the ground underneath you is constantly shifting. This framework is meant to be that solid ground. Now, this framework isn't just one single policy. It really rests on four interconnected pillars. You've got budgetary policy, that's what the government spends; monetary policy, that's how the central bank fights inflation; fiscal policy, which sets the rules for taxes; and finally, exchange rate policy, managing the currency's value. And here's the crucial part. They are all linked. If one of these pillars is weak, the entire structure is at risk of collapse. So recognizing this, Haiti has started the really difficult work of trying to strengthen these pillars. Let's take a look at the concrete reforms that are now on the table. The approach here is coming from all sides. On the fiscal front, they're moving to digitize tax collection to improve transparency and crack down on evasion. For monetary policy, the big goal is giving the central bank more independence to make the tough calls needed to fight inflation. They're also launching what's called a single window system to make it dramatically easier to start a business, and they're overhauling investment laws to attract capital to key sectors. And look, these reforms aren't just theoretical ideas. There are proven models for success right there in the region and beyond. Take Rwanda. After they put in a digital single window, you can now register a business in just 6 hours. 6 hours! Or look at the Dominican Republic, which used specialized free zones to attract over $3 billion in foreign investment just last year. The path has been paved, the lessons are there. But, a blueprint is one thing, construction is another. It's time for a bit of a reality check, because the path to reform in Haiti is littered with some of the toughest hurdles you can imagine. The first, and let's be honest, the toughest hurdle is corruption. On the 2024 Corruption Perception Index, Haiti scores a pretty dismal 20 out of 100. That's less than half the regional average. For any potential investor, that number is a massive, blinking red light. It just screams that contracts might not be honored and that the rules of the game aren't fair for everyone.
And this is what's so frustrating, right? It sets up this powerful internal contradiction. On one hand, Haiti has these incredible strengths, a super young, energetic population, special access to U.S. markets, and just vast, untapped tourism potential. But on the other hand, all of that good stuff is undermined by this deep-rooted corruption, a heavy dependency on imports, and of course, chronic political instability. In so many ways, it really is a nation battling itself.
So, how does the analysis propose to chart a course through all these challenges? What does the actual roadmap for growth look like in practice?
Okay, the recommendations here are all laser-focused on building one crucial thing: trust. First, radical transparency. That means publish all the numbers, the budget, the monetary data for everyone to see. Second, fully digitize tax and customs, just slash the opportunities for graft. Third, create a formal council where the government and the private sector have to talk to each other. And fourth, strengthen the legal system so that investors actually know their contracts will be honored.
And this isn't just some wish list. It's laid out as a phased plan. The immediate goals for the next couple of years are to get that digital single window up and running and to pass a law guaranteeing the central bank's independence. The midterm goal is to establish new economic zones to create jobs. And the long-term vision is to bring a huge chunk of the informal underground economy into the formal system, which would boost the tax base and create lasting stability. So after looking at the problems, the plans, and all the hurdles, the entire argument really boils down to this three-part key. To truly unlock its economy, the analysis suggests Haiti needs three things that are totally inseparable: unwavering macroeconomic stability, radical institutional transparency, and a shared strategic vision that unites the government, the private sector, and the Haitian people. And that brings us to our final question. The analysis presents a clear, logical, and even a proven path forward. But given the immense political and social challenges on the ground, is this three-part key, stability, transparency, and vision, is it really enough to truly unlock Haiti's future? That's the question we'll leave you with.